Well, hello, welcome back once again to another LEGO Legacy Heroes Unboxed video on this channel. Today we'll be talking about the new Alumni Days stuff that we have upcoming. Now, I will let everybody know I have a little bit of information about this stuff, but nothing too concrete yet. So I feel like I can still make like a speculation video since I don't know actually anything that is going to be in there, so I don't feel like I'm leading anybody possibly astray with any of this. Also, sorry if I sound a little off. I don't really feel too well right now. This is my 15th time trying to record this, and I've had this ready for like 4 days. So yeah, I haven't really been feeling too great over the past week or so. So yeah, so if I sound a little bit off, that is why. But to start off with, we're gonna go with the set. We have this set here, which I believe is called the Lion Knight's Castle, at least in America. I think the European version had a couple different names. I think it actually had the Castle of Scott or something. I don't know. It was like a little bit more of an official name, I think maybe like a real castle name. But I believe for America, it's just kind of like the Lion Knight's Castle. And this is the one that is supposed to be laying there unbuilt in the castle section of the neighborhoods. So honestly, I feel like if I'm doing a castle-ish themed event update, I'm adding in too many figures in a set. I mean, that seems like what we'll be doing from now on. I would probably go for the low-hanging fruit, which is this one, which is already built, which honestly I'd be kind of excited to see this one actually get built and put in the neighborhood. I really like seeing the pirate ship get done last time. So I feel like there's a really good chance it's going to be this one. Now we might could get a spooky themed set and it could be put in the other neighborhood like we did with the East Chick set. But I feel like this one's going to be a little bit more obvious given that it's just kind of there waiting to get done. Now going forward, we're talking about the minifigures. I do want to mention, personally I view this update or this event going forward as being more of a spooky themed one than a castle themed one. Now granted, there's a bunch of overlap between spooky and castle, and I still think it would probably be a large part spooky and castle, though I could see this one getting some more spooky sort of collectibles and maybe some other themes like some videos or whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that I view the Malicious Malloc one more as being castle, since it feels like it has more castle stuff in it to me than spooky. But I know all the castle stuff there is also spooky. But I do remember playing through this one originally when it was like zombie and spooky going in. We don't talk about zombie being spooky army and I guess technically castle now. Also at one point it had ghost, which I know is castle, but now it's loosely castle. Slimer, and I believe it also had Ray at one point as well. So I kind of view it as sort of continuing that trend, and you can add more actual castle stuff that isn't spooky to Malicious Malloc, even though it is also spooky. I don't know, it probably makes no sense, but both of these events kind of cover the same category, so it's hard to really come up with a good difference between them. One other thing I did want to mention too, and I'm 100% sure this isn't going to happen, is I would actually change this into a classic movie monster sort of spooky event. I mean, Basil the Bat Lord is already kind of like Dracula, Dracula pre-turning into Dracula. He's the Bat Lord, leads the Fright Nights, which I do some bat-related shenanigans. I mean, I think that would fit well, though I don't think that is going to happen. And I would do that a little bit more if I was doing stories still, which I know they're not really doing right now, which is kind of sad. I think that would work really well. But first up, we have the Fright Night from Collectible Minifigures. His name's actually Fright Night. This event is kind of Fright Night focused for castle and spooky. He would kind of be castle if you count collectible minifigures as castle. Would be spooky. Would probably also give him the Fright Nights tag, since he does actually have the emblem. If I'm not mistaken, that is the emblem, or it's very close to it, on his shield. I believe his bio mentioned he's a part of Fright Nights, or was, but maybe it was too frightening or something like that. Up next, we actually have Evil Knight and the Frightening Knight. Both of the bios mentioned something about working at one point for the Fright Nights. I think Friday Night was too frightening to be a part of the Fright Nights or something like that. So you could probably fudge it. Castle, maybe Spooky for both of them too. I mean, Friday Night, maybe more so than Evil Night, but possibly Evil Night too. Also, basic enough animations for all three of these. Nothing too crazy going on there. I think these would be some good additions to the game. Up next, we have Vladic. I don't normally go multiple pictures with like the same minifigure, but he had, I think, 3 or 4 different versions, and all of these looked really cool, so I want to include all of them. Sorry about the image qualities being different between all of them, but these are a little bit older. There's not as like nicer pictures about them now. And also, I don't really own any of these guys. But he was the main villain, at least for the beginning, of Knight's Kingdom 2, which is a separate one from the Knight's Kingdom that Storm was a part of. But I think all of these minifigures look just really cool. All a little bit in like different ways, but kind of like some basic Knight design. But you can tell he's clearly evil, and I think the Scorpion motif is really nice with his emblems and his like armor printing and stuff. Like, I think he would be a real cool one to get added into the game. And I know some people really liked Fright Nights, or not Fright Nights, well, people like them too, but Knight's Kingdom, so people would probably want to see some of them represented in the game. Also, he was supposed to be like the ancestor of Oleg from Alpha Team, so there's some interesting LEGO history stuff there. Next up is some of the other bad guys from Knight's Kingdoms 2. Top row is like the generic basic soldiers. The bottom 2, one of them was like Vladic's, I think it was like Armor Smith, and the other one was apparently an enemy during like Wave 3 or something, like the new bad guy. He almost sound like a vampire, but I'm not really followed the series too much. I think they all look pretty cool though, and you could probably fit them in there for Spooky and then suddenly be Castle. And I don't know, you might want some like more generic people than all big name dudes, but I think all of these look kind of decent for the designs. I wouldn't mind having any of these. Next up is, at least from my research, these were the only people from Fright Nights that we don't have in the game yet. They're just like the basic generic soldiers. Nothing too crazy going on with them. I mean, the one in the middle is a little bit more plumed like Barnabas. It might have some more crazy weapons there, but all of them look kind of cool and could probably work well with fleshing out the Fright Nights tag. If you don't want to have all those clickable minifigures, you could do that. I mean, there is a tag that's already in the game. I'm not saying we maybe need a full team of Fright Nights, but that would be a way to go ahead and finish off another tag there. And I mean, honestly, they look pretty decent. I wouldn't be really upset with getting any of these guys, and I also like the facial prints for them. Up next is the Dragon Knights from Castle 2013, which is different from Castle 2007, which we have in the game right now. That was kind of similar, though I would say they're a little bit more design-wise similar to the Dragon Knights from Kingdom, which is the one the Verda's from. But they're just like, I think the design looks really cool. You can kind of tell they're supposed to be bad guys, but they're not like too crazy fantasy, though they are led by an evil magician who controls a dragon. Honestly, it looks kind of like Malak, but he doesn't control an army of skeletons. I feel like you might could get Spooky for all of these guys, especially the leader if you want to put him in, and I wouldn't say no to more evil wizards from Castle themes, honestly. Give me a whole team of them. Up next is the bad guys from Knight's Kingdom 1, which is the one that Princess Storm is from, and you have in the middle Cedric the Bull. I don't remember the guy to the left. There's another like named person, like a proper named person, and the guy on the right's just named Weasel. I don't know. I wouldn't mind having like a weasel in the game, especially with that face print. You know, animate that up would look really cool. But just sort of like barbarian dudes, which I think is just kind of cool. We don't really have those in the game right now. Don't know if they'd exactly be the most spooky, but I don't know. You could have this be like a bad guy castle focused event, and I think that could kind of work. Up next, we're going back into the collectible minifigures line, and we have, I think we should call it like Spider Lady or something like that. I don't know, I feel like she to me feels like a spider version of Basil the Bat Lord. Like, you have him with his bat motif, but you have her with her spider motif, and she does stuff for spiders. I don't know, it just feels like thematically it would fit well in an event that also has Basil in it. I don't know, she looks almost a little bit like a vampire, but do some spider stuff, which we already have. Wouldn't probably be too hard to animate. I think she'd be kind of cool to add in. Then we have Spooky Girl is in the event. I think she was in the store, but I know she had like some notes where she was part of the story. I think she was helping Basil become spooky in the modern age or something. So she's already kind of related to the event. Put him in the event too. I don't know if he would be like the coolest minifigure to get, but I wouldn't exactly say no to him. It might be kind of fun having like Spooky Boy and Spooky Girl. I don't know, give some good synergy there together. Up next is the Dragon Knights from the Kingdoms line, which is the stuff Verda is from, and honestly the stuff I really wanted to see from that theme. I think they have a really cool design. I like how they're the dark green. I feel like they stand out as being very different looking to the other like bad guy factions from the castle themes. Like they don't immediately stand out as looking bad. Like they have a little bit more darker armor, darker weapons, and then just like some more maybe bad guy seeming weapons like flails and stuff. But I think they just look really cool. Wouldn't mind any of them getting added in. Don't know if Spooky would maybe fit for all of them, but possibly. Top right-ish, middle right-ish is the, I believe she was called like the Queen or something. She was from the chess set, that's all that she was from. But looking over what they had from this theme, I think she actually looks pretty cool. Would be kind of more like, I would assume like a rogue character, which I think would be kind of fun. We don't really have anybody like that going around and using a dagger for castle. I think she'd be really cool. She's also like medieval Scarlet, which I think is kind of dope. Then you also have like the wizard who may or may not have been the leader of them. I think in the chess set he was, but he was only like a small little set. But he did some stuff with some dragons. The theme only had some like really small molded dragons, no like big dragons like the other dragon people like Malak or the other wizards from the other castle theme. So maybe not the most evil, but he's also a little bit more basic wizard than the other evil dudes, which I think would be kind of cool. Throw him in, like give me a whole team, him, Malak, Magisto, the other wizard, and maybe throw in another wizard dude, I don't know, just for kicks and giggles. Next up is we have more collectible minifigures. These are, I would consider like the classic movie monster people. You have Vampire, Wolfman, the Monster, the Fly, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Mr. Good and Evil in here. Just a basic witch, crazy scientist. I think he's crazy scientist, maybe mad scientist, something like that. He's the one that made the monster, so he basically legally distinct Frankenstein. And Spectre, so we already have a ghost in. Honestly, I think all of these would work pretty well, would fit in pretty decently as like classic movie monsters. Most would be classic literature like monsters. Well, I think besides the Fly, I believe he was only from like a movie, and like Ghost is kind of like classic. I think they all would work well. Also, I think most of them kind of have some relations to castle, like Dracula's castle, Frankenstein stuff that went down in a castle, witches sometimes live in castles, ghosts haunt castles, just different stuff like that. Though sadly the Spectre probably with that bottom piece wouldn't actually make it into the game, though I think he would look really cool to have like another ghost in. Honestly, I wouldn't mind like a full ghost team at some point too. But these are just like basic ones to add in. Some of these are very similar to other things that we already have, but I think all of them would work pretty well. And you could have some fun stuff here too with like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and the Scientist. Maybe give them both like techie tags, add them to some techie teams. Maybe the monster's also techie because he's powered by like lightning for like the bolts on his neck. Like I think there's some like cool overlap stuff you could do here. And of course just some more magical with some spooky stuff going on. Next up, I put these two over here called, while like the Spectre was over there as well. These guys I could maybe see not being the ones that would be chosen the most due to like some special parts of that like unique maybe animations. I don't know if you really need to do too much with like the head, though. I don't know, it might be a little bit hard to animate that. You might have more of an animation system down for the basic minifigure heads, though. I could see them like not doing too much. But these are, I think, the actual werewolf. The other guy I believe was Wolfman, which I think is a little bit more in line with the classic old school movies, and then you have, I think, Bat Monster or Bat Creature, which could probably fit in as like a servant of Basil or something. You could probably do some fun lore with that. I think he was just like a servant of the vampire, but I don't know, make Basil the vampire in this story or something. Both of these are also pretty cool, just a little bit out there, and also kind of retread some other territory, like do we need two different baddies, two different wolf dudes, I don't know. Now up next we have not the Forest Men, but we have the Dark Forest, which was Forest Men again? I don't know. They're both led by Robin Hood, so I can't exactly tell you the lore there, but this one's the Dark Forest, so spooky. Also, this is some like close to Lego's 90th anniversary stuff, which one of the sets was Forest Men, which I was going to include on this list, but I'm like, I don't know, that's a little bit too far of a stretch, and it's kind of a little bit after the anniversary, but maybe for the event after the anniversary, you add in the Dark Forest minifigures. I mean, I think this was close to the time of Well, I think these guys might have been in one of the sets Barnabas was in, so they're somewhere in that time. Could be kind of fun. I'd love to see actually like a Forceman type character, and I wouldn't say exactly no to getting Dark Force, and also they basically look the same anyways. But I have them here because they're just kind of like maybe not spooky, but definitely some castle stuff, and would look maybe be kind of cool to get added into the game, I guess. Up next is like the only other little bit more darker castle theme, and this was Wolfpack, which I think at one point, or my memory, which could be wrong, whilst I researched them too much, I thought they were supposed to be kind of like a replacement for Forcemen at one point, but they were more like actual, just straight up bandits. I can't remember which one of these two were the leader. One of them was generic, one of them was the leader. They both look kind of cool though. I love the mustaches, the hair, the hoods, and the symbol. So maybe you can add them in as just like a bad guy. I mean, if they're just like bandits that rob you while you're like strolling through the woods, hey, that could be spooky. And then just like an honorary shout out to, we do have the 90th anniversary stuff that has been released with these two sets. So you had some Forceman stuff, which honestly look very similar to the stuff that was in the Dark Forest line, and what was it? Black Falcon, or sorry, no, Lion Knights, but I think it had a like Black Falcon in it somewhere, and also like an updated Magisto or something. I mean, I could maybe see them throwing in some minifigures from here into this update, since it kind of ties in around the same time. But I think this is like pretty solidly a stretch here. Now, two other ones that kind of have sort of spooky is you have Squarefoot, and then you actually have Scarecrow. I don't know, Scarecrow's like a classic like Scooby-Doo spookum villain. I don't know, Bigfoot's Bigfoot. I don't know if these would fit in too well, though. I mean, I could see maybe Scarecrow, if they're doing like a classic movie monster, he might could fit in there. And I guess Squarefoot kind of could, but I would at one point wanted him in like the Yeti events. That's like related kind of. And then also for some more classic movie monsters is you have the Mummy, and I believe she was the Mummy Queen or Queen Mummy or something. The one on the left is a little more classic Mummy. I can see including him as spooky, but I also feel like these would be saved till you actually got in something like Adventurers or Pharaoh's Quest or like Monster Fighters or something, and have some more synergy with them than just basic spooky, like some more desert stuff going on here. But I can see both of them kind of working because they are like a classic movie monster. I guess maybe not so much literature monster, but I mean there's probably some stuff about them. Both of them I think equally kind of work. Mummy Queen looks a little bit different, like she might be just somebody dressed up like it, but she could also just be like one that's like absorbed people's souls and started forming back again, like the Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser. And then we have the Monster Rocker and Monster Scientist, which I believe is in this he was supposed to have made the fly creature. Also has like a tin head going on there. Honestly, I think he would be kind of interesting, but I feel like maybe the Crazy Scientist first. He might work more for like a techie villain or techie like addition. Monster Rocker just kind of feels a little bit too much like overlap with the monster. Like maybe we should get him first, but I don't know if we need both of them. Granted, I mean his prints look pretty cool then. I mean, it could be something a little bit different. I'll put him on a team like DJ Mary or something. I don't know, like some kind of rocking team. But I feel like he would be a little bit lower down the list because he's a little bit too maybe unique. Then we have the Banshee, which is one I think would be really cool, but not as much like classic literature related. And then she also has like the special bottom piece, so it might be a little bit different to animate. Though I think she would be a really cool addition to a spooky team. She'd look really good. And finally, well not finally, we still have a little bit more, but we get to the video additions. I put them all here together because I talked to Tiny Trooper recently when they added in Mary, talking about the possibility of them adding in any more video figs, and they said if they like fit right or if the time's right, but probably not anytime too soon. Which, I mean, they could have decided to run this event and update versus some other stuff. I don't know, all they could have sitting in the pipes ready to go. But to me, that sort of answer felt like that they're probably not going to have any new video figs added in next update, which I feel like would exclude these. But for these, for the top two, you have, I think, Vampire Bassist, Guitarist, maybe Vampire Drummer, Vampire Singer. Both of those are vampires. To the right, I think that was Zombie Drummer. Then you also had, I think, like Wolf Drummer, and then you had like the Banshee Singer. The top three I could maybe see getting added in. I don't know, but they all look really cool. The bottom two, like the Banshee, has that special piece down there, and that might make it a little bit more complicated than the Wolfman. I don't know, has some more unique pieces like the head and the tail, so it might not be as easy to add in as some other stuff. So I kind of put them even as lower than these. We'll probably get more of a basic one, like we got Mary versus the like shark people or squid drummer dude, which I think all those look pretty cool. And then for even more video, we have the ones that I put a little bit more castle focused and spooky focused. You had two different dragon people. You had like the ice dragon, I don't know, I mean it'd be cool, chill, and would look more like a fire dragon there. And I think the one like the ice dragon was playing like an acoustic guitar versus the fire dragon like a electric guitar. Then you have, I think the official name was like Flying Unicorn. It's an alicorn, I know enough bronies. Then you have the unicorn. Both of those would be kind of cool. I don't know if unicorns feel kind of castle related, fantasy related. Maybe you could shove them in there. Be some kind of another like magical fig at least. I think these could all be kind of cool to get in at some point. Might be a little too special with the wings, but the unicorn one might be a little bit easier, though they do have that special head as well. And I believe this is the final ones on this list. I know this one's a little bit longer, but castle and or spookies are a pretty broad category in LEGO. Is you had the zombie cheerleader, zombie businessman, which the zombie figure already was kind of a businessman in this game, and then you had the zombie pirate, which the zombie pirate I think would be a really cool one. Lots of cross tag stuff going on there. But honestly, I just don't see any of these getting added in, at least not here. Though granted, Alumni Days was about like a college thing, so you could have zombie cheerleader there as a cheerleader for the college. I mean, she would work. But I don't know if they maybe want to do that. Although I would say if they do that, I wouldn't mind maybe a full-on like zombie tag. I know you have zombie pirate, zombie cheerleader, so on that zombie drummer or whatever he was from video. I think all those could look kind of cool. It could be a fun tag. There might be too many spooky subtags. But with that finally out of the way and done, let me know what you think. You think any of these might possibly be getting added in? None of them? Were there any of these that you would like to see? Any of these that you weren't maybe familiar with? Or if there's any of anything that I didn't put on this list that you think should have been on this list, then there's a good possibility of us getting in this next update. Do let me know down in the comments below or over on the Discord. I'm happy to finally have this recorded after putting it off since like Tuesday, and it's Friday now. So yeah, just honestly happy to have it done. So until next time, this is Tor Ripley signing off. Goodbye and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to bringing you news shortly about what's actually going to be in this update, because I'm honestly looking forward to find out myself. Until next time, Troll Ripley signing off. Goodbye and wonderful day. Bye-bye.